Step 1 is to gather your fabric. For step 2, sew your first short strip to the right side of your center square. Place right sides together, meaning that the fabric you want face up at the end are facing each other. Sew this with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. See the end of this video for a technique called chain piecing that allows you to be more efficient and not have to snip your threads every time you start a new seam. Visit my website to check out the pattern for details on cutting instructions and fabric requirements. For step 3, sew second strip to left side of center square. This step is basically a repeat of step 2, just on the opposite side of your center square. I recommend sewing your quilt in what I refer to as batches, as you can do all of one step at a time. This way, you can repeat all of step 2 before step 3 and so on, so you can progress easily throughout your quilt pattern. This helps the process feel easier and more repetitive so you can enjoy each step along the way. Iron your seams away from the center square. You'll start with your fabric face down and can iron the seams to the left and to the right to iron away from the center square. You'll then want to flip your block over and iron the top of the block the same way to reinforce that seam direction. Moving on to step 4, sew the first long strip to the top of the block you've assembled so far. For this, you'll always want right sides together as you assemble each piece. You will also use a 1/4 inch seam allowance for this step. All of the steps in this video work very well with chain piecing, as mentioned before, so make sure to check out the tutorial for this at the end of the video for how to simplify and speed up the process. Step 5 is a repeat of step 4, similarly to how step 3 repeats step 2. Here, you will sew the next long strip to the bottom of the block you've created. You'll again use a 1/4 inch seam allowance to sew right sides together. Lastly, iron your seams away from your center square. Start on the back where you can see your seams, and then iron the top to reinforce your seam direction. And this is how that should be looking. When I sew a quilt, I like to use batch sewing to complete all of each step at a time so I can move linearly through my pattern. In doing this, I am able to use a technique called chain piecing, which you can see here. In this technique, you don't need to cut your thread as you sew your pieces together. Start your 1/4 inch seam and sew across your block, sewing a little off the edge. I usually sew about a 1/4 inch longer than my seam. You can then grab your next piece and continue the seam. Here you can see the chain piece method repeated just a couple times just to reinforce and provide some clarity. Please let me know if you do have any questions in the comments. At the end of this, you will have a long chain of squares with short threads connecting them. You can then go through and snip each thread between your blocks and you are ready for the next step. This saves a lot of time and thread for me, so I find it very helpful and enjoy the repetition.